Yes, we're now going into the Andrew Johnson National Cemetery. We're going to check out the grave of our 17th president, Andrew Johnson. We're going to go look at his house tomorrow, so I think that'll be neat to go and check that out. But anyway, his grave is right up there. You see that American flag is, and that monument right there, that's where it is. I'm not there going to try to climb those steps, so you can drive around over here on the other side, but we're going to go and check that out here and take a look at it. But this is a beautiful area. And from what I understand, that President Andrew Johnson's family used to own all this here, and it's now a cemetery, but back when he was actually buried, I think he was the first grave that went in here, but it used to be all his farmland and stuff, but he really, I think he said that he wanted to be buried up here because look at the view. I mean, look at these mountains right over here. I mean, this is just spectacular, just being able to check all this out. But yeah, this is still an active cemetery. So I mean, you've got graves going all the way back to Andrew Johnson's time back in the Civil War, all the way to recently. I mean, the Gulf War too. And so yeah, pretty neat to check out. When you come up here and look at all this. But yeah, love the view up here. That's for sure. All right, here we are. President Andrew Johnson's grave. His wife right next to him there. You can see that. Nice big monument here. I believe these are his kids over here. I think, I'm not really sure. But yeah, this is his resting place. All right, now just to give you a brief overview of President Andrew Johnson. He's not really a president that's really talked about too much, but he was Abraham Lincoln's vice president. And he actually assumed the presidency when Lincoln was shot at Ford's Theater by John Wilkes Booth in April of 1865. And I think he'd only been vice president for maybe a month, a little over a month, I believe, because I think Abraham Lincoln and Andrew Johnson took the oath of office on March 4th, 1865, I believe. And then Abraham Lincoln was killed, I believe, on April 15th. It was either April 14th or 15th. I can't remember the exact date, but it was just a little over a month later. And Andrew Johnson pretty much served out the rest of Lincoln's term there as a president, so he pretty much got to serve a full term as president. Now, when it came time for him to be to run again in the next election, which would have been, I believe, the 1868 election, he actually did not get the Democratic nomination and ended up losing the nomination. And of course, the next president that we had after that was Ulysses S. Grant. And from what I understand, that Andrew Johnson and Grant did not like each other, and Andrew Johnson refused to go to his inauguration. In fact, I think from what I understood it, that Grant pulled up at the White House in his carriage, and Andrew Johnson refused to get in with him. So, Grant went on to the Capitol and went ahead and had his inauguration. From what I understand, Johnson stayed in the Oval Office. Well, not the Oval Office, they didn't have that back then, but he stayed at the White House in his office there. I don't think the Oval Office was actually built to the 1930s, but anyway, he was there at the White House, and he stayed there until noon, until he was officially out of office, and then went to a friend's house. He came back here to Greeneville, and from what I understand, got involved in some things, and then a few years later, he ended up winning a Senate seat. I want to say that was in like 1874 or something like that. And so that means he took office in 1875 as a senator, but he died in like July of 1875. So he was only a senator for just a few months after leaving the presidency. But yeah, he served a lot of things. He was actually governor of Tennessee for a while. I think he might have been mayor and some other things, and did some other things politically. But yeah, Greeneville is where he called home, and this is where he wanted to be buried. So once again, right there's his burial plot and monument. So still pretty interesting to be here, though. I know he wasn't one of our most popular presidents, but it's still a piece of history. Our 17th president, Andrew Johnson. Okay, so I'm just taking a look at these other graves. Maybe these were Andrew Johnson's grandkids. I'm not sure, though. Like I said, I haven't really done too much research on that. But yeah, got a whole other plot right over here. I know that his kids are buried here too, but I'm not sure which ones they are. But you see the other graves here. Just take a look at the spectacular view up here. Okay, that must be his son right there. That's Andrew Johnson Jr. So yeah, he's buried right in front of his parents. Yeah, he died in 1879, so just about 4 years after Andrew died. Interesting. Like I said, Andrew Johnson, of course, he's not one of the most talked about presidents that we had, but you know, it's still pretty interesting to be able to come and visit his grave. You know, it's part of history. He definitely was one of our presidents. But anyway, if you're ever up here in Greeneville, Tennessee, I highly recommend you come by and check out his grave. And like I said, we're going to go check out his home tomorrow and, you know, see all that. So, yeah, his name's all over this town. I tell you what, they love Andrew Johnson, that's for sure. Look at these graves here. Then we got more over there. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not sure what family members these are. Okay, maybe that's his, okay, daughter there, okay. Yeah, this is Andrew Johnson's daughter there. This must have been her family. Oh, pretty interesting. And there's the monument once again from the back. This is a beautiful cemetery. Alrighty, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. So, you know, I hope you've enjoyed being able to see the monument and the resting place of our 17th president, Andrew Johnson. And we got more videos to come. Like I said, we're gonna go see his house tomorrow before I leave town, and you know, maybe some other things too. So we'll see what else we can find.